We have one more in this functional series, functional movement series. If you have not met or read or seen her present before, you're in for a treat. This is a woman who's been in the industry for over 30 years, really focusing on gerontology and integrating fitness, mindset, everything that we're learning here. I think this is a great way to kind of conclude this series. Make sure you meet Dianne McCaughey if you haven't already. We're excited to have you coming on up next, Mrs. Dianne McCaughey.
Thank you. Are you happy? That's a big question. Do you want to be happier? Do you want to be happy when you're old and cranky? You don't have to be old and cranky. So when Cody called me at the last minute, oh yeah, you're speaking. Did I tell you? No. But we worked it out. I want to do something different. But the cool part about it, Colin started yesterday talking about depression and psychology and all those things that are so important in successful, healthy aging. And because of my past and watching my parents and my family, I think that the psychology and being happy and how we think is probably the most important. I spent 500 hours in observing, getting my PhD in nursing homes and assisted living facilities. And I saw people in beds and wheelchairs that were happy and doing well. And I saw people walking around in perfect functioning bodies, and they were miserable. And I said, wow, there's something to this. I lost my mother in my early 30s, I lost my dad in my 40s, and I lost my only sibling, a little emotional here, when I was 50. So in 1 year, I will outlive all the women of my family. And there's going to be a big party in Stuart, Florida, so you're all invited. Because I'm going to change my genetics and my history because I'm thinking differently. So I hated myself up until my mid-30s, until I had my first crises. So that's what I did my dissertation on. I don't care about your blood pressure and all that. I want to know what's ticking inside of you because I think that really is important. And so I started working on myself. I looked at the evolution of reflective wisdom. How do we change when we go through a crisis? How do we ride those bumps in life? I want to be more resilient. You heard that word from Colin. We need to be more resilient because we have less of it as we get older. Do we laugh? Do we have humor? I want to be like Stephen. What's he eating or drinking? I want some, right? So before I change to the next slide, I'm going to read you a personal letter. I've only shared this once before, so if I get a little teary-eyed, bear with me, because it's going to lead us into our next slide. This is a letter that I found that my mother had written 8 years before her death, and I did not find it until 2 years after her death. So before we get started, I would just like you not to listen with your head today, but to listen with your heart. How does that sound? Try not to cry. My dearest daughters, this is a private letter between a mother and her daughters. The two of you are very precious gemstones with which God has blessed my life. I want you to remember, though, that no two gemstones are alike. There is no way that I can compare a ruby with an emerald. Their color is different, but each is beautiful in its own way. Each is loved and desired for its own uniqueness, its beauty, and yet they can complement each other with their uniqueness. This is you, my precious daughters. I have wanted to write these things to you for so long, but I did not know how. I could not find the proper words, and the timing seemed wrong. Today I have started. It will be interesting to see how long it takes me to complete it. A word of caution here. You may not wish to read it all at one time, which is fine. You may wish to discard it and never finish it. Please don't do that. I even suggest you tuck it away for a time when you will need it later in life, and you will know the time. and she never finished. And so I long to hear the pearls of wisdom from the generation before me. And I think that's something that we need to think about as humans. You as the coach, and for your clients. It's about leaving a legacy. Dan had that in his slide. Colin had talked about that. This is what we're doing as a group. We want to leave a legacy. Could be something handed down to the next generation, a gift, an inheritance. It's about making a difference and making this world a better place for the future. That's hope. It's hope for ourselves, and it's hope for our children. And maybe we haven't even thought about leaving a legacy. My mother tried or started to leave an ethical will. It's not about leaving things. It's about leaving thoughts and values and knowledge. And it's about giving back and leaving this legacy. That's by Andrew Weil, and he believes that it is a way for healthy aging. What could be included in this? Many things. A way to leave something behind to be remembered. I wrote a book 10 years ago, and I wasn't happy with it, so Nicole came into my life, and I said, can you help me tweak this book? Can you give it an updo and a facelift? It's getting a little old. She said, yeah, not a problem. And it was so hard to write that first book. Dan and Cody had their offering. I'm like, wow, what a great way to leave a second legacy and not have to kill myself. So thank you for that. And I will leave that for my nephews, because my sister is gone now, and I am now helping to be their mentor and to leave a legacy for them. Stories. We all have great stories. Stephen had great stories. We want to share these ideas with the future. It's going to help us learn about ourselves, that we can pass this down. And it's a way of letting us live on forever, because we know that one day we are going to pass. That's what we do know about ourselves. But we want to live on forever in some way. Helps us to have a completion. And maybe it's something that we don't talk about. I didn't know anything about feelings. I'm from a military family. You're not seen, you're not heard, and you certainly don't have feelings. But now I do, and I want to be happy. You saw this with Dianne. So I was all about the yin and the yang, but not balance. It was power, perfection, and now I'm just pooped. So now I'm like Robert. Yeah, baby, 3 knee surgeries, a hip replacement, this one's getting ready to go, a hernia repair, and on it goes. So that Victorian martial artist competitor that I used to be, I didn't know anything about Tai Chi. It was like, I'm going to kick your ass. So now I have to redo myself. I have to reinvent myself. And that's what this evolution of wisdom is. Who are we? Where do we want to go? And what kind of legacy do we want to lead? We need to be in harmony. Harmony with ourselves and harmony with our environment. So Dianne was just talking about this. And people don't realize that. And I use the same saber-toothed tiger story. So thank you for that. It's going to save me time. When your alarm clock goes off in the morning and your phones are ringing, our nervous system is on fire. We have got to slow down. And Tai Chi is a great way to do it. Breathing, it gives you ideas. But it's also about communicating and being open and being transparent with yourselves, with your loved ones, and with your clients. So we have a lot of other things. You see the Band-Aid on the heart. I believe that my mother and my sister died of a broken heart. And I think those emotional issues ended up being physiological issues. Colin talked about depression. It's big. You turn on the news. We had 2 big people that just hung themselves in our country. And there are a lot of people that aren't talking about it. And if you're isolated, like he said, even hearing problems can lead to depression. And we're going to see 2 older people on a video today, and you're going to compare them. And how do you want to be? It is time in midlife that we wake up. They talk about the midlife crisis. That's an opportunity. A crisis is an opportunity for learning. So it's how we see the glass. I always saw the glass half empty because those were my mentors. So I always say you want the ACE method. You have to have awareness. You have to understand that you have choices. And that's when you begin to execute. So we want that ace up the sleeve, right? So it's time to wake up. And I have a client that's 73 that never woke up. And I said, you are in the toilet and you just keep flushing that toilet every day, just going down. You have a choice. Happiness is a choice. So it says that biochemical changes in our body respond to our emotions. Listen to how your client is talking. Listen to either their stinking thinking or maybe how abusive they are to themselves. Oh, I'm slow, oh, I'm stupid, oh, I'm this, oh, I'm that. But maybe we could change that around. We do get more sensitive to things. How does somebody wake up at 73 years old and all of a sudden have celiac disease? I've never been allergic to anything in my life. I also believe that we get more sensitive to people and energy. We were just having a talk that when you're in personal training, you're dealing with people all day long, it is not as much physically exhausting, it's emotionally exhausting because we give. So it's time, even our thoughts and our actions, to look at those and to rethink some things. And I always say, listen, I have a PhD, but I'm not a rocket scientist. So if I can change myself, anybody can do it. You just have to want to do it. Come on up here. We'll do some Tai Chi together. We'll have some harmony strategies. And we know all these, the cardio, the stretching, the meditation. You know, I think breathing is one of the best things. I'm an Egoscue practitioner, a posture therapist. And I teach classes all week, and they are packed, and I have a waiting list. Why? Because people want to decompress. They want to breathe. They want to not allow their cell phones in there. They don't want to talk. They want to feel good. You want to lend integrity to someone when they're done. And like she said, exercise is a free radical. So you're the expert. You're going to have to pick and choose. We do need that yin and yang in our lives. You know, I know that too hard, just my body. I said, wow, look at my framework. I should have been riding a bike and doing yoga. What did I do? Martial arts, cheerleading, running, and skydiving. Like, really? Yeah, but it was fun. I'm just paying the price now. So I called Cody the other day because there were some things that just weren't really communicated, and it was sort of confusing getting everything organized. I just said, we are not communicating. So that's our big joke now. Yeah, Dianne, she just calls me and says, I'm not really communicating. You got to communicate. We think that people can read our minds. They can't. So it's about feeling confident enough and not being fearful to just ask for what you want or share. I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling frustrated because we're not communicating, right? And we need to seek other choices. And I'm not telling you anything you don't know. I'm just bringing it back up to the surface because we all know we need this. Wayne Dyer, rest in peace. When you change the way that you look at things, things in your life change. I never knew that people didn't have the same perception that I did. I thought everybody thought like I did. Get to know your client. How do they think? What do they want? Growing old should be enriching. It should be an experience where we appreciate our significance. And I would say now that I'm in my 60s, I am starting to value myself. I travel all over by myself. I go out to dinner and I see people on their phones. I see people yelling at each other, or I see people looking at each other and not talking. I'm having a great time. And I'm just by myself. So I am enjoying my own company for the first time. Why? Because the first time I like myself. I'm actually pretty cool and funny, and it's all good. And we are going to come to terms with losses. My eldest nephew said to me the other day, something was frustrating me. He goes, Aunt Di, it's just a bump in the road. He goes, look at me. You know, I just turned 30, and I've had a lot of bumps in my road, so I'm learning to ride these things and to pick and choose. Life is short, and you never know, do you? So maybe we should start writing some of those ethical wills and leaving some legacies now. Michelle said yesterday, talking about turning up and turning down genes, looking at epigenetics. My genes are pretty, so big party next year, right? I believe that my mindset is going to be my biggest asset. That I'm going to look at life differently. I'm not going to be a victim. I'm going to take control. I have choices. I'm going to make it happen. And that's important. And I do believe that that can change our epigenetics. Remember, what you think and believe creates your emotions. Your emotions create your actions, and your actions create your outcome. Should I say that again? Your thoughts and beliefs. And I just want to go back to what Stephen said. We talk about the hunter and gatherer, where the boys follow the boys and the girls follow the girls. Your belief system comes at a very young age where you just follow your mentors. My mother was victimized. My sister chose my mother as a role. I watched that as a young kid. I don't even really realize that, but I understand human behavior and psychology, so I picked my dad because he was the powerful one. And I wanted to get things done and not be a victim. So your thoughts and beliefs create your feelings. Your feelings create your actions, and then your actions create your outcomes. So the good news is you have what you want. Do you want to know what the bad news is? You have what you want. Or you have what you believe you deserve. People don't dream too big. They dream too small. You have 60,000 thoughts every day. So if you have stinking thinking today, what do you think you might have tomorrow? The same. Stinking thinking. 80% of them will be the same. Think positive. So if you go back to the art of positive thinking, it's not focusing on what's wrong and what we haven't done. It's what we want and where we want to go. So there it is. Thoughts and beliefs create feelings and emotions. Emotions create actions, and actions create outcomes. So Colin gave out the number 7.6. I've also seen 10 years. If you become more positive, you can live 10 years longer. I'm going to have a party in 10 years, too. All right? And you're all invited. So 60% of the people in the U.S. that are 100 years old think that they're positive people. And I bet they are. See the one little red egg? So I always say, one bad apple in the barrel and the whole barrel's ruined, correct? You got one little red egg there and he's a negative egg. It's going to take 5 positive eggs to cancel him out. So when you get negativity in your life, you need 5 positive things. That's hard. Turn to your neighbor, look them in their eye, give them a thumbs up, and then give them a fist bump. Do it now. Boom. So that's 1 positive for the day. You're going to need 4 more later. Yeah. Perfect. So these positive emotions are essential in aging. Yes, they improve our physical and mental health, but they also buffer against disease, depression, illness. Yeah. Do you want to be Tigger? Have curiosity and adventure? Or do you want to be like Eeyore, fearful? Oh dear, oh me. I want to be Tigger. I still want to have adventure. Look at Stephen. He's still playing, right? So we know that humor and harmony help with physical well-being, mental well-being. It builds our immune system. We need that to fight off a lot of the things that will happen as we get older. It helps us increase better interactions with people. And we know that relationships is huge. Less doctor visits, longer life. I'm in. How about you guys? Yeah. So science shows people that are happier live longer, healthier lives. We said earlier, it's not the years in our life, it's the life in our years, right? So we have 50% less disease, heart attacks, strokes. Start by changing your attitude. Listen to your clients, help them. That's where coaching comes in. So Sanjay Gupta, a medical newscaster, went around the world looking for the happiest people in the world and the happiest country in the world. They found Denmark. I worked in Denmark for 14 years, and the Danes are like, are you kidding me? He must have come in the summer, because we're drinking and depressed in the winter. But that's what they found, and they found 3 reasons why people are the happiest. The number one that we talked about is building and having these relationships. My immediate family is gone. I could be ooh-hoo-hoo. My friends are my family. Debbie Pillarella has become like a sister to me. Dan and Cody, I'm putting you in as my family. You got so many kids anyway. Does it matter? All right, am I in? Cool. I want you guys to meet Irene and Alice. Has anybody seen this video on Irene and Alice? They're 100 years old. They've been friends forever. And so what I want you to do is look at their interaction. I want you to look at who do you want to be more like. Do you want to be more like Irene, or you want to be more like Alice? And then I want you to look at the things and the questions that they ask him and what they have seen in 100 years. Now, I have clients that, I'm not getting a computer. I'm not doing that. And then I have a 91-year-old Grandma Betty. She's got her she's got hearing aids hooked up to the iPhone, hooked up to the pad, hooked up to her telephone where she can see caption and reading. She's awesome. So let's look at Irene and Alice.
All right, everybody, listen. You know, last month, we had 100-year-old best friends share their secrets to lifelong happiness and friendship. Now, these 2 women have been friends for 94 years. Can you imagine what you'd think of the world today if you grew up back in the 30s? Well, we asked them to give us their opinions and their takes on today's pop culture. It's pretty funny, some of the stuff they had to say. Check out Irene and Alice.
Selfie?
I don't know what she's saying.
Where you take a picture of yourself and you put it on Facebook and let everybody see it.
When do you take a picture of yourself?
Oh, they do it. They do it.
I don't.
Oh, no, you don't and I don't. But they do.
Who's they?
Other people. I gotta try that sometime.
I had enough pictures taken of me. I didn't have to take my own picture.
Have you heard of it?
The dance?
Yeah.
Oh, I've been so far from the dance floor that I don't know what's going on.
We did the 1, 2, 3 shuffle. When I think of it, we must have looked like, I don't know what. Yes, 100%. Listen, I am so irritated. I don't know what in the hell's going on, but it rings out. There's all kinds of things before and you can't call the telephone company. You got some mummy, I think they are, answering the phone. So I don't know what happened to good old Illinois Bell Telephone that I used to work for. Oh, that kid, the singer?
What do you think of who?
Justin Bieber, that singer. I think he's in movies, isn't he? He's not doing something right, from what I heard. I don't remember. Am I right?
You're right.
Oh,
You're definitely right.
But I don't know what it is.
Let's go to the next question. That wasn't a very good one for us, was it? What did I didn't hear
The
what
baby name, what do you think of the baby name North? North? Whose name is that?
Spell it.
North? You're kidding. Oh, BF. EFS. Oh, best friends? No. Oh. F?
Friends.
Well, we
Forever.
say goodbye. BFS.
That's close to.
I can't wait to be a 100-year-old and just start cursing. How about you guys? So it gives you an idea they were very different, but yet there was a lot of unconditional love there and a great relationship. So you'll have to use that one. That's a very nice clip. So we talked about people and communities. Nissan, you talked about building a community, having that picture. Dan got up yesterday. Cody, always talking about we have our Facebook community. We are a community. And it is so important to be socially engaged and to have those relationships. And you're building them right now, this weekend. Exercise was the second reason. So we can be like Maxine here, come around town, put our leg up the wall, and be super fit. I'm wondering if there's an Amber Alert for her right now. And then you have the other lady. I decided to take an aerobics class. I bent, twisted, gyrated, jumped up and down for an hour. But by the time I got my leotard on, the class was over. And I bet we have some of those as well. And there's going to be something in between all those. And you are the expert, and I'm sure you'll figure out which toys and what to do with each person. Last but not least, our third reason why people age healthy is giving back. So that goes back to the beginning when we looked at leaving a legacy. So these people here in one picture are giving back to their community, and the other picture, a grandfather is giving back to his child. So generations of giving back and having a purpose. We have to finish that bucket list. Dan gave a great story yesterday of his Parkinson client who finally got to the Galapagos. Are we making those bucket lists? Are we finishing those bucket lists? We need to be adventurous at old ages.
Meet Grandma Ria. She'd never travelled on an aeroplane before. So before her first ever flight, to beat her fear, she took to the sky on a roller coaster.
Tak begini tinggal. Chicken day.
Kalau ni tahu sikit lah. Oh, punya benda ke?
So we want to be like Grandma Ria. We want to take those adventures. We want to have that curiosity, and we want to have humor. So they are making us laugh. So you're having humor today. And the food for thought is, you don't stop laughing because you get old. You get old because you stop laughing. So that was the same thing Stephen said about moving. So I want to laugh when I get older. If you get a chance, take it. You and your client. If it changes your life, let it. Nobody said it would be easy, but they promised it would be worth it. I love this one. Life should not, this is for you, Robert. Life should not be a journey to the grave with the intention of arriving safely in an attractive and well-preserved body, but rather to skid in sideways, champagne in one hand, strawberries in the other, body thoroughly used up, totally worn out, and screaming, woohoo! What a ride. That's the way I want to go out. How about you guys? Yes. And I'm going to leave you on this note. May you and your clients live all the days of your life. And may your life live on forever as we pass that torch. Thank you, guys.